Welcome everyone. I am here with Ashley.
Hello.
And today we're going to get to know entrepreneurship a little bit better. So we're going to have a lot of different entrepreneurs that are going to answer various questions about their struggles, about the things that they love, their advice, and how we can help each other. So, Ashley, do you want to give everyone a little bit about yourself?
Yes. Okay. So I am a mind, body, soul life coach, and I also model and sing, kind of do everything that I love for a living. And I'm originally from Miami, Florida, and now I live in California, moving back to Miami. And so I am an entrepreneur, and it has been a beautiful yet really crazy journey. So I'm excited to be here.
So tell us, what is your vision? So, who do you want to be? Who is at the end result? Well, kind of what they say on your grave. What kind of woman do you?
So I love that question. I feel like I think about that often. Obviously, I want to be a leader. So I want to make sure that in my time here, no matter how long that may be, that I am leading people into being the best version of themselves, and at the same time, giving them the freedom that I feel I have.
Yeah.
And so I just want to pass that forward.
Thanks to Modern Conveniences, I was able to get my groceries delivered.
Yes.
So we had to take a brief moment, and now we're back on track.
Yes. Thank God for technology.
Yes, thank God for technology. Thank God. So, how you got started with entrepreneurship? What got you on this journey?
So I didn't really know about entrepreneurship. I knew I wanted to work for myself, but I didn't really know how. And when I came to California, I didn't have a job. So I was applying to gyms because I had already had experience working at gyms. Mm-hmm. And I ended up being a manager and then switched from a manager position to personal training.
Okay.
And with working with people, it was just such an amazing feeling. I knew it was my purpose to help with people and work with them one-on-one.
Yeah.
But it got so much deeper, and it was more about their mental, emotional, and spiritual healing and improvement. And so many of my coworkers at the time were going independent, and I was like, independent? What does that mean?
Yeah.
And, while they were transitioning out, they were inspiring me to do it as well.
Wow.
And the whole corporate aspect of, personal training really turned me off. I was seeing all sides of that, and it was more about numbers and sales, and I was like, well, that's not even benefiting me, what I'm doing, and I want to be able to make my own schedule and help as many people as I want.
Right.
And the freedom of that was just so
that
compelling.
alone, I feel like, is what attracts the most amount of people to entrepreneurship.
Most
just
definitely.
that knowingness of
Yes.
I choose.
Absolutely.
My choice.
Yes. It's so powerful.
Yes.
I think most of us aren't taught that we can do that, right? And so just the thought of that replaced my fear, because I was so no, I don't know if I can do this.
Right.
It was terrifying and
Yeah.
totally stepping into my discomfort, but it was worth it because that's what started my journey.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Thank you.
I definitely think a lot of people would be able to connect to that
Yes,
as well.
most
because
definitely.
it's very
Yes.
it's one that speaks to me as well in
Definitely.
my journey with entrepreneurship.
Yes.
So, who are your ideal customers? So,
Okay.
one thing stress to entrepreneurs is that being an expert in one field is way better than trying to, I can do this for everyone.
Yes.
Who is your ideal client? Everyone. Everyone that has skin.
No.
Everyone that has brains. You have to be
Yes.
able to be an expert, to be able to gain authority in your field. You have to be
Yes.
able to, who is your ideal client?
Yes.
And then speak to them directly.
Yes.
So who are your ideal clients for your business?
Yes. So my ideal clients, I do get contracted, and I have basically two groups. So one target group is kids. I've mentored kids, and these kids specifically are those that are either not going to school or they're struggling with focusing or even finding themselves. I don't think that it's ever too early to have self-confidence and a high self-esteem and learn entrepreneurship, because I think that learning to be a leader, like, you're never too young to learn that. Leadership is so important. So I love that market. So I love those customers, that whole clientele.
Yeah.
And
so kids starting at what age?
I have worked with really young kids, like even 5 up to like 15, 16. But my favorite, I would say, like my favorite is like middle school, just because, like 6th to 8th grade.
Yes.
Because
it's such an important time.
It really is. It's like you're dealing with peer pressure, you're dealing with your self-esteem, you're dealing with body issues, you're dealing with like puberty and like fitting in and finding yourself. It's a really, I remember that was like the hardest point for me in my life, so that I know how difficult it is for them, and they're old enough to be able to like communicate with you and tell you how they feel, but at the same time young enough to be shaped, and I love that. So when it comes to kids, that's like my top clientele. But for adults, it's really just all walks of life that really want to get to loving themselves more, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, tapping into that and becoming their most authentic self. I think that we have those kids that grew up and didn't have coaching, that grow up into adults that are afraid of like being successful, afraid of their bodies, afraid of being the best version of themselves and stepping into their power. And so that target group is my favorite when it comes to adults. It's like the kids that grew up that weren't able to have coaching and anyone to guide them and still be able to have that guidance.
I love that. What gaps do you feel like you feel in the life coaching industry?
So I think from what I have seen, and even personally, the fact that I didn't get that coaching, right? Like when I was in school, for example, that wasn't even there. You know, there was no life coach. I never even knew what a life coach was.
Right.
Until it's like I heard about Tony Robbins and then, started researching, right? But like in the educational system, especially like in schools like the ones that I went to, that wasn't even offered, right? So that gap, I definitely love that I'm able to fill and hopefully continue filling, because if not, then who's gonna bridge that gap, right?
If not us, then who?
Then who, exactly.
I live that.
Yes. it has to
I
be.
live that, yes.
If we really don't do it, then it's always going to continue being like that. Like they're going to be lacking that form of necessary education.
If we don't create an opportunity for others, then who's going to
do it? Absolutely.
Yes.
We need more people actively doing it in their own voices, in their own ways, and forms of entrepreneurship. And I think with adults, it's that same thing. Like if they didn't have access to that information, like I'm grateful that I found that information along my journey. But I want to offer that access to them if they still feel like I can't afford it, or where can I find it, or is it possible for me, right? It's like once you know it's possible for you, you have to help somebody else believe it's possible for them.
Can you share some of your tips that you have with time management? Because along with the freedom of having your own schedule, you are in charge of being the director and the employee at the same time.
Yes.
So how do you manage your work with your love, with your family, with your everything else that may be, your dance schedule, workout schedule, whatever it is?
I love this question so much because I have struggled with that. I think that was for me the most difficult part of being an entrepreneur, because you're like hustle, grind, and then you're like depleted.
When do I sleep?
When do I eat? When do I exercise?
But there are 24 hours in a day, and Gary Vee says I should work 16, and I hear you, and I understand that, and I live that. But there has to be a balance.
There has to be a balance. I wish I would have told myself that 2 years ago. Because I was like, I'm living a balanced life. I do what I love. And that's great. That energy, that kind of energy will last you a while, right? Because you're so motivated.
Yes.
So passionate that you don't need the sleep, right? Like you're like, I'm good.
Where you just have a night full of ideas,
Yes.
and you can just go,
Non-stop.
and it's just boom, amazing. Ride those waves.
Yes.
Enjoy those waves.
Absolutely.
Do it.
But
but
one day you will crash, and that crash will not be fun. And you want to make sure, like, one thing that I have made myself really delve into is setting up a schedule for myself as if I'm a client too, because I am gonna tell all of my clients to make time for themselves, to put themselves as a priority, but I'm not doing that when I am working 17, 18, 19 hours. I mean, like, non-stop, and not working out. Anyway, not working out and not doing anything. Like, if I'm telling people to do that, I have to embody that, and I cannot embody that if I'm drained and exhausted. So my top tip is to schedule yourself first and foremost. You have the morning routine, you have the night routine, you have your workout time slot, like, you have your eating times, you have your drinking water, you have a list of what you need to do, because if you don't do those things, you cannot do for others. And so especially when you work with people as an entrepreneur, or anything for that matter, you're editing, you're doing things after the clock, like, you don't have a 9 to 5, you're like 24/7. You have to set those things as priorities, because your health depends on it, and your business depends on it. Because
schedule yourself into your calendar.
Yes, most definitely.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Most definitely. Super important.
Yeah. So what you have managed to get a pretty nice size following on Instagram. What are some of your marketing secrets that you can kind of share with some of our other entrepreneurs out there?
Yes, so consistency is key, right? That is
So when you say
important.
consistency, that means a lot of different things for a lot of different people. What is consistency to you?
Consistency to me when it comes to social media is I'm consistently engaged with my followers. I'm talking to them, I'm doing lives, I'm posting, I'm writing. On YouTube, I'm like being consistent with like one video a week, or an IGTV video once a week, like at least to where I'm being consistent. And if someone is following me for motivation, for empowerment, right, that they know that I'm always gonna be there. It doesn't mean I don't take time off, because I set time away from my schedule, right?
Correct.
But that consistency of like whatever it is that your niche is, whatever it is that you do post or you share with the world through social media, that you're consistently offering that. Because if you have one post every 4 months, your followers know that, right? They're gonna be like, oh, she posts like every now and then.
Yeah.
You know, I see it every now and then.
You're not going to be their go-to if you're not consistent.
If you're not consistent, most definitely. Like, it doesn't matter if that one thing you posted was amazing and went viral, if there's not something else to follow that. Because unfortunately, that's just where we live. People are on social media, and
content is king these days.
It is. Honestly, at first, I was not with the wave. Like, it was hard for me to get with technology, because I'm really old school and not all about like being in front of a screen all the time. But you can manage it to where you're being consistent and it's not draining your energy, because you're not consuming content, you're putting content out there. And
correct.
Yes. Correct. Which is huge.
And that's the balance.
Yes.
Because when you are an influencer, when you are a content creator, you want to consistently be in a space where you are coming up with new ideas instead of just consuming and regurgitating everything else that's already out there. Because there's enough. You gotta be original.
You see a whole bunch of copies. You see that, right?
Yes.
You want to bring your own, and I think that's another tip too when it comes to marketing secrets. Like, your authenticity does matter. It's key. Like, you don't want to be like anybody else, because you are unique, and someone out there is looking for your unique qualities and your unique voice, and that's why you have your own separate audience. Just because someone else is successful doing what they're doing doesn't mean that you'd be just as successful doing what they're doing. they're successful because it's their authenticity.
Correct. It's
So-
their strengths and weaknesses
Exactly.
that they're highlighting.
Yes, so you have to find yourself, and that can be, it evolves as you go, right? Like, you shouldn't wait to put out content, because I think as you put out content, you evolve and it changes and transforms.
And
But-
you have to let it change and transform with you.
Yes.
I think
Yes.
as this, like, we tend to get caught up in but it's not good enough, but I can have a better quality,
Yes.
but wait, no, what you have is good enough.
Absolutely.
You are good enough.
I love that.
So put it out
do
there.
it. Just do it.
And change it as
Yes.
you can. Change it as you grow.
Absolutely. I think that was the major shift for me in my journey, is that I never did anything miraculous in life because I always wanted to wait until I was good enough. Like,
It was perfect.
perfect timing, perfect weight, perfect hair, perfect everything, perfect camera, perfect editing. And I just started doing the videos, right? Like 90% of the things that I post on YouTube and on Instagram, pictures included, like most of them are from my iPhone. Like a lot of them are not. I mean, if I can't afford to buy the equipment yet,
Of course.
or to hire a videographer or photographer full time, then like we collaborate, or
Yeah.
we use our phones. Like your iPhones, even Androids, like they have
Yes.
great
Quality.
technology and
Yes.
quality. It's great.
Start where you are.
Yes.
Start with what you have.
Definitely.
And that is a lesson that I'm learning today.
Yes.
Overcoming everything that it took to even get to this point.
Absolutely. Yes. And it's worth it. It's worth it because
Yes.
a year from now, or even 2 years, you're gonna look back and say, like, if I wouldn't have started, I wouldn't be here, right?
Correct.
So it's important.
Correct.
Yes.
So, what is one piece of advice for entrepreneurship that you think is like, you have to know this?
Okay. So I'm really big on energy, right? And understanding that when it comes to being an entrepreneur, your self-confidence in yourself and what you have to offer the world is like number one. I didn't even pay attention to like statistics and numbers and everything in the beginning. In the beginning, it was just like, I can do this, right? Like, I'm worthy of this, I'm capable of this, and I'm gonna do this. So I think that mastering that in your life is what allows you to really just take off in your career, because once you understand that you're deserving of it and you're capable of it, everything else flows. It's like, okay, because I'm deserving and capable, I want this and I want to do this and I would like to see myself doing that, and then everything else kind of like flows with it.
Yes, absolutely. I love that.
Yes,
I love
you.
that. I love that. So you have a YouTube channel as well.
Yes, I
Feel
do.
free to let everyone know about that.
Hi. So my YouTube channel is Peña Pequeña, like my Instagram, and the email is First Love Yourself Fit, and I really just put self-care and self-love tips. I do fashion hauls and just kind of let it flow. I talk about similar things and just helping people become confident in their skin and in their mental and in whatever it is that they want to accomplish.
I love that.
Thank you.
I love that.
Yes.
So thank you everyone for watching. Feel free to subscribe, like, comment, all those wonderful things.
Yes.
And we'll be back with another video soon.
Bye. Love it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.